Hello, beautiful souls. Can you believe that we are on lesson 300? 300 already. I feel like we've just completely and entirely collapsed time here with this year almost gone by. We literally only have 65 lessons left. Tear. And I know, though, that this whole experience of allowing ourselves to endure this mind training, at the end of it, we truly are and can be miracle workers. And so I feel that this is what we are preparing for, to accept our part fully in God's plan, that we may save ourselves to help save the world. And so today's lesson is a good one, on the cusp here of the 300 day. Woohoo! 300! Only an instant does this world endure. Only an instant does this world endure. I feel that what this is calling to today is the recognition that this world, this physical world that's seen through our physical eyes, that seems so real, only an instant does it endure, because in an instant can we know true heaven, true reality, the new world that God would have us look upon instead. So in any instant that we choose, whether it be now, whether it be next week, whether it be on the 365 lesson or thereafter, whatever time we choose, that instant will be for us to look upon the world of heaven, to look upon the real world that God has given us to see, instead of looking upon this world of sin, death, war, craziness that us humans have created to be. So we were allowing ourselves to shift from identifying with the human to identifying with the eternal soul. As in yesterday, we were reminded that it is eternal holiness that abides in me, and this eternal holiness can look upon a new world. So today's lesson is calling upon this idea that only an instant that does this world endure. So this takes all the thoughts of time out of it. You know, just like I said, 300 days have gone by already. I've done a lesson every single day for 300 days. Like, time is not part of that equation. It's just kind of happened of itself. So the same thing can happen here. We no longer need to worry about how long it's going to take for everybody in the world to wake up. Irrelevant. We can wake up now. We can choose to see a new world in any now instant. So today, we are allowing ourselves the declaration that only an instant does this world endure, and that is a happy thought. That is a happy thought. So let's see the remaining lesson here for us to kind of settle into today, as this is a big idea. It's an idea definitely taking us outside of the box of time and space. All right. This is a thought which can be used to say that death and sorrow are the certain lot of all who came here, for their joys are gone before they are possessed or even grasped. Yet this is also the idea that lets no false perception keep us in its hold, nor represent more than a passing cloud upon a sky eternally serene. And it is this serenity we seek, unclouded, obvious, and sure today. Yes, so there's almost like two whole thoughts that are encompassed in this one idea. Only an instant does this world endure. Jesus is reminding us that yes, this thought is saying that death and sorrow are the certain lot of all who come here. So they are bound to experience that when they come here. For their joys are gone before they are possessed or even grasped. Meaning that if you come into this world thinking that you are just a body, yes, you are going to experience death and sorrow, and you will not experience the joys because they have not yet been grasped or possessed, because joy comes from what we are inside. Inside. And so, you know, we are recognizing that those who come to this world and believe that they are a body, yes, they are going to experience death and sorrow. But the happy part of this thought is that this is also the idea that lets no false perception keep us in its hold. Okay, so it is a false perception that thinks that this world is only for death and for sorrow and for not getting the joys of life. But rather, we are recognizing that we are no longer going to let the false perception of this old world keep us in bondage, keep us held tight into lockdown, keep us in fear. Nor are we going to let it represent more than a passing cloud along an eternal sky. upon a sky eternally serene. So we are recognizing that it is the landscape of the eternal serene sky that is our reality with God. And this world is literally like a passing cloud on the sky. That's it. It's nothingness. I think it was Wayne Dyer that mentioned the idea that this world, or in this experience in this world, is a parenthesis in eternity. It's literally a small chunk taken out of the eternal for us to experience the temporary time and space. But it is just temporary. This world is not our home. This world is not our reality. So it literally is like a cloud passing on the sky's eternal serenity, you know, and therefore it is of nothingness. It is the illusion that this world is. And so we are affirming in our final sentence here, and it is this serenity we seek, unclouded, obvious, and sure today. So we are asking to look upon the serenity, the unclouded, obvious, and sure reality that God has created for us today. This is bringing me back to one of the ideas that Jesus is known for, right? Seek first thy kingdom of heaven, and all else will be added unto you. But heaven is an inward condition, the inward recognition that serenity and the unclouded, obvious, and sure reality of our eternal sky is our home, is our reality. And by accepting it within, we see it outside, and then that is when only an instant does the world endure. You know, only an instant does this world endure in our minds, because in a single instant, we've accepted heaven. We've accepted the reality that God created, which is where our holiness, our happiness, and our perfect serenity is. So this isn't some far off, distant idea, but the kingdom of heaven is here now. Here now. And then we will see it out here. But in here first. And so, let's conclude with our prayer. We seek your holy world today. For we, your loving sons, have lost our way a while. But we have listened to your voice and learned exactly what to do to be restored to heaven and our true identity. And we give thanks today. The world endures but for an instant. We would go beyond that tiny instant to eternity. How most perfect. So today we are seeking the holy world of God. The holy world of God. And if we seek for that, we will find it. If we look for it, we will find it. If we ask for it, we will receive it. But it must be this holy world that we want to see, and not the world of death and sorrow. For we, your loving sons, have lost our way a while. By being in this world and being born into this world and thinking that we are this body, yes, we have lost our way a while. We've lost in darkness. You know, we're lost thinking that this body is what we are. But we are being affirmed, especially because we are Course in Miracles students on our 300 lesson. We have listened to the voice of God. Otherwise, we wouldn't be reading these lessons. It's not the ego that wants to learn these lessons. These lessons are the undoing of ego. So believe you me, it is your soul who's doing these lessons and called to these lessons. And so you have listened to the voice for God. You have listened to God's voice and learned exactly what to do to be restored to heaven and our true identity. And we have been told exactly what to do. And what is that? Exactly, it's forgiveness. We are taught what forgiveness is, and all of these lessons, every single one of them has the whole in every single part. So the whole of God kingdom is in every single one of these lessons. Another word for that is being holographic, right? The whole being in every single part. And so we have been given 365 lessons, one for every single day of the year, for us to use in our mind to help undo ego and accept the truth as God created it, to accept heaven here, to accept our true identity. So we've been given a very, 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 very practical way of how to restore ourselves to heaven and our true identity. And so we give thanks today that the world endures, but for an instant. I only want the old world to be here an instant longer. So it's a happy thought that this is true. For we would go beyond that tiny instant into eternity. The one holy instant that the Holy Spirit is here to give us is to show us the world of heaven and to show us our true identity in God. Boom! Then we're in eternity, beautiful souls. Our mind can reside in eternity, even though our body seems to be here and playing out the story in form. So this is a beautifully happy thought to know that only an instant does this world endure. And while this world is enduring for an instant, we're guided by the voice of God as to what to do, what to say, where to go. And this week, and actually, we have been guided to use this time in the world to have ourselves our own experiences of joining with the Riverside Retreat to inner peace. And so all of us are allowing ourselves to turn within, to connect with that inner teacher, to heal our mind and release us from the bondage of the world. So you better believe that since this is the lesson for tomorrow, we are going to be using this and applying this as we come together. For when we come together, God's sons get to recognize God in each other, and that is the platform for the Holy Spirit, for miracles, for heaven itself, for love and peace on earth. So we're allowing this joining to happen, and all of you are part of it in our hearts and in spirit. And so let's allow ourselves to remember that only an instant does the world endure. And so I go beyond this tiny instant to eternity. Woo! Lesson 300 is done-ski. We're on the last 65 lessons, and I'm happy to be doing it with all of you. So I love you, enjoy today, and talk soon. Bye!